I've always advocated that there are only 3 cities I believe in when you want to invest in real estate. Just 3 cities. Number 1 is Bombay. Number 2 is Bombay. And number 3 is Bombay. Hi, I'm Vijay Gwalani. 22 years of real estate consulting. This is where I made all my money. Today, I'm not here to promote any developer, nor am I here to promote a project. All I want to do is impart my learnings to you and make your real estate ride a much better one.
So let's start with, why are we doing this?
So typically, I'm an advocate of passive income. I kept asking myself, where would I see myself 30 years from now, 40 years from now? This was when I was 20. And I would never get solid answers. I mean, today, let's talk about you. You're in a seasoned position in a strong advertisement company. You have skill on your side. You have age on your side. What happens about 25, 30 years from now? This SV will be replaced by a more solid, a younger, a more skillful, a more present SV. You'll be redundant SV, I mean, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
You will be redundant. But would you want to compromise on your lifestyle? Would you want to see inflation looking right into you and teasing you that time? This is how it all started, and I think everybody has this primal fear about, but you can either learn from this fear or you run from this fear. Most of the people run from this fear at this age. And I would only want to advocate that we need to address this. The sooner the better. Let it be stock market, let it be fixed deposits, or for that matter, someone like me who's been successful with finding my answers to this fear in real estate would advocate real estate. But you need to start as early as your first salary.
So a passive income is as important as your regular income?
It is. I mean, not that you need to immediately sideline a lot of money and, kind of struggle in your present to create a better future. But you need to give it some credit. You need to start somewhere. As small as 20% of what you make, keep for yourself. Start loving yourself. And you will be a better thinker. If we start at, let us assume 25, 30, that is when stereotypically you make decent amount of salary where you can, expose yourself to a small thrift saving. At 45, 50, you will be much more comfortable than most who don't do this. And that's why I advocate real estate as a strong platform, because this is something which actually challenges inflation more progressively than any other asset class. I mean, if we talk about FDs, I mean, most of the salaried class I have seen in my 22 years of broking are a defensive lot, are a very scared lot. They have been made to believe because of news, gossip, communication, with so many people that realtors are thugs. And,
Once again, are they thugs? Are they all thugs?
You see, I won't want to make a head-on comment on this, but we have a business module. Everybody has a business module, and it's more about survival. There's no right and wrong. If you choose to be a pigeon, you are going to be hunted by the cat. It's strange that the pigeon usually closes his eyes to a cat, thinking that the cat cannot see him, and that's how he intends to survive. But that's not how it is. You need to be there with open eyes, and the chances of you being thugged are limited.
Yeah, but I think most people like me are a bit hesitant towards investing in real estate because of the fear of the unknown. We don't know what is going to happen because it's not as guaranteed as, say, the other avenues, I feel.
So, I don't want to debate on this. defy your logic, because this happened to me when I was a first time investor. I've had FDs, I've had stocks before I actually ventured into real estate, but I came in as early as 25 into this world. Not that I had tapped the FD thought process or the stock market thought process thoroughly. It was a conscious accident, if I may say. To answer your question, the fear of the unknown is not limited to you investing in a situation as a first timer in real estate. The fear of the unknown is a human trait. Let us assume that I offer you to come with me for bungee jumping. Tell me, what would you think all night before we hit the bungee jumping spot tomorrow morning? The only fear that will hit you is, what if the belt opens up? But today, if you take me bungee jumping, fortunately, over the massive 30 years of ups and downs I've had, the first thing I will say is, let the man have a camera and shoot me so that I can be pompous about what I did. Whereas you, as a first timer, would only think about the belt opening up. So that is a human trait. If you can get over it, then not only passive income but holistic life changes. So you need to get your act together. Not everything that is exciting is dangerous.
How do you get over this fear? As a first time investor, for instance.
So to get over it, you need to jump. And I understand that it takes a lot of gut. It also takes something called guidance, which most have not done in their failures in investment or real estate. Every time someone picks on investing in real estate for the first time, there are more people who fall than who come out of it happily. So, and the only reason I assume for the first timers failure is the lack of guidance, the lack of right guidance. A broker plays a very critical role in making you understand the thick and thin of it, the good and bad of it, the dark and bright side of it. But you need to be with someone who's been through this. You need to be with someone who's professional. That does not mean someone merely having a RERA degree. It's a mandatory thing to have when you're a broker, but that's not enough. He needs to be exposed to several situations that a structure, apparently gets into. It's not a one-size-fits-all theory. People who have got money of their own, there are bank exposures, there are so many situations from the macros all the way to the micros. You need to have thorough guidance from a professional. And like I said, every second broker there, I'm not criticizing anybody, is not thoroughly bred. These days, the unfortunate thing that is happening in the market is a broker is busy trying to amass his survival instinct. Just like you asked me about realtors. So there are brokers and then there are brokers. If you get to the right person who is more concerned about imparting knowledge and making your journey from 0 to 100 an absolute one, then I don't see you failing in your investments. Just like a bungee jump, if I would have told you to go to the airplane and jump from there in a skydiving tour, would you do that? No. But the fact that you are holding a good jacket and a solid branded parachute, and apart from that, the person hugging you is someone who's been jumping as a professional jumper for the last decade, you're good. If you are thorough with the fact that man who's going to go be your guide in this jump is someone who's been doing this for a living for the last 10 years, 15 years, you psychologically get over your fear. So identifying a good broker, trusting in him is primarily your theory of combating your primal fear.
But if there was one cardinal rule to make sure that my investment will yield me some good result, what would that be in real estate?
So it's very broad as a question. It's like I said, it's not a one size fits all theory. There is no cardinal rule, but To me, whenever I have sat as a buyer buying property, I have brokered several deals in my life. I've lost count. But the real money always came from investments, buying and then selling. That's what I call the business of real estate. But whenever I sat on a deal, on identifying the property I wanted to invest in, the only thing I thought about was exit. I never thought about profit. It was so important for me because I had limited income. I never thought about how much money I will make. The moment fear is taken over by greed, you are jacked anyway. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
So, combating fear does not mean you overtake it by, leading it with greed. You need to be judicious. And to be judicious is an in-depth study. But as laymen, as first-time investors, you can't learn everything on day one. All you need to do is make sure that you get the right sound in terms of exiting the property and not making money out of it. Getting out is more important than getting into. I read a little bit of the Mahabharata, the archer Abhimanyu, the son of Arjun, was a solid archer. He was at par with his father.
Yeah.
Arjun was the archer, the finest world ever produced. And his son was equally good. The only thing he did not know was coming out of the vicious circle called the Chakravyuh. Getting in he was as good as his father, but he couldn't come out of it. And that's what was responsible for his death. It was not his disability as an archer. It was his failure to understand exit as a theory that killed him. So for me, the cardinal rule always has been, how will I eventually sell this asset? Because right now, it's the developer's challenge to sell his asset, and tomorrow it's going to be mine. And if I, in my own capacity or the capacity of my well-wisher, my broker, am not going to be able to exit this asset, I'm in a problem.
Yeah.
At least when it's about the business of real estate.
Yeah.
And investment does not mean you take one asset and sit over it and, retire into that house eventually. It needs to be flipped. It's just like water. If it's there, it stagnates. Right? Running water is called Ganga. Stagnant water is merely water. So if you want to be there in the right setup, the right infrastructure, make sure you turn around asset. Looking at the various aspects in terms of price, in terms of market dynamics, in terms of statutory levies, all of that comes into play. But like I said, buying will only come with the thought process of selling. And you need to keep churning your money. And that's when the numbers come. And that's when, you are making the passive income you would want to make.
Yeah, but talking about numbers, how do I know if I'm even capable of investing in a real estate? In the sense, I don't come from a family who's invested before. I don't have that kind of capital in my hand. I'm a salaried person, for example. Then how do I?
Yeah, so this again is actually everybody's fear. Everybody primarily feels that real estate is something which is only the blessing to the rich and famous. Someone who already has the money. Money does make money, right? Money does make money. But who said that it's supposed to be your own? The biggest strength you have over someone who's rich is your salary slip today. Banks are offering money as low as 8% to likes of you. So when you are a businessman, when you are a business person, bank is skeptical to lend to you. So how do you, fit in this race in lieu of me? I have money, I go shopping, I pay the money and come back. Let us assume you want to go to Marks and Spencer's today.
Yeah.
That's my favorite brand. So that's where I buy most of my stuff. So when I go to Marks and Spencer's, I shop for 10,000 rupees and pay them cash. where because I have that disposable income with me.
Yeah.
When you go there, what do?
Credit card.
You swipe your card.
Yeah.
And who's giving you that credit? The store?
No, the bank.
No. And why is it giving you that money? Because it believes in your ability to repay them. So start believing in your ability to repay them. Go to the bank and they are most happy to fund salaried personnel, especially people with the likes of you, the skills you have. They also factor the fact that you will only grow from here as a person. Today, at 30, you are creative head of a very solid ad agency. You can only go further to probably be picked up by a Lintas or any big ad agency. You may start your own. I mean, and a bank factors that. So it looks at your salary. It also looks at a person like you, a persona like you, growing stereotypically, all things remaining constant, and they fund you. So while I need to use my own funds to buy an asset because I am from the real estate fraternity and bank sees me as a negative profile. I don't know if most understand this, but banks don't fund realtors easily. Banks don't fund any allied agency attached to real estate because they see it as a negative profile. But someone like you, the bank is happy to disburse money on an asset which is still not created, which is still not constructed, under construction at 8%.
But we've been constantly taught that debt isn't really a good thing. And the interest that you levy on a debt will only pile up and it's going to be a stress point later on. At least that is what my parents told me.
So these are all the questions that are stereotypical to everybody who's new, especially our parents. They've been orthodox. मेरी mom बोलती है कर्ज मर्ज है. So if you take debt, you are taking ailment.
Yeah.
But tell me, if the banks just had everybody like you depositing money and creating FDs, who will borrow? Who doesn't have debt? Every institution borrows from the bank, and that's a structured way for addressing your business. The moment you borrow money from the bank, especially for real estate, there are so many SOPs you can't even imagine. Money primarily comes at 8%. And trust me, inflation is going up much more than that. Let me tell you about a classic thought process, which I actually put up on my website once. I was tapping the price of bread, all right, vis-a-vis SV's salary slip. 5 years back, your salary was, let us assume, I don't want to get into the depth of it, but let us assume you were sitting on ₹1,00,000 a month, maybe a 12 lakh CTC 5 years back. Today, you are sitting, after 5 years, at probably about, let us understand escalation the way it goes in your industry. You would be probably sitting on a 15 to 18 lakh rupee CTC, which makes you richer by 30% or maybe 35% in the last 5 years.
Right.
Do you know the price of bread has more than doubled in 5 years? Which means if you did not eat your bread 5 years back, today you're paying much more than what you are worth just to buy that bread. So you have not beaten inflation. You've not checked on inflation. You're only poorer. You could get a loaf of bread with your 12 lakhs 5 years back, and now you can get only half that loaf after having 50% increment in the 30-40% increment in the last 5 years. So we need to understand that as a consumer primarily. And that will answer your question. Debt at 8% is extremely cheap. Modern age does not allow you to think like old people did. Please expose yourself to that debt. Allow yourself to be in check with the inflation. Do not use your money. If you don't have money, anyway, you need to go to them. Even if you have money, please mobilize it more sensibly, because banks don't only offer debts. Statutory bodies allow you SOPs on taking such debt. Let us assume you're a lady, you get better rate of interest than me when I'm going for a home loan. Your first property gets a lot of advantages to you from the government. You have all the benefits of those tax saving schemes, which you otherwise would want to put into insurance or a PPF, again at 7%. it's best to expose yourself here and not make any more investments.
Hmm.
Your HR will be extremely happy because you'll have a 1 point program when you buy asset through a bank debt. You get a lot of soaps, and then your statutory investments, which you every year struggle to make on 31st. Most of you all don't take any money back home, right? 31st March, if you've not given your HR your investments, they will take away your salary. So March is very bad. But just do this, get to a CA, understand those advantages, and then holistically, cumulatively understand how real estate is a bigger advantage is just buying and selling, making profits,
And exiting at the right
and
time.
exiting at the right time.
But how do I look at it in the long term view? In the sense, we are not used to thinking कि 20 साल के बाद ये इतना worth होगा या नहीं होगा.
So there are charts, there are charts for stocks, there are charts for real estate. I've always, as far as real estate goes, like I said, it's so simply said, oh, you must exit, but how is that going to be possible, right? So let me explain to you real estate, the approach to real estate as a layman. Just like any other commodity, this entire mechanism, when I tell you be in downtown, be where it is scarce, be where there is demand, everybody wants to be in a proven area where everything is self-sufficient, right? So that's where the demand lies. Just like any other commodity, real estate is also a commodity, and it's absolutely governed by the demand and supply. I call it market. Demand and supply coupled together is called a market. What is market? Market doesn't mean a marketplace like your fish market or your vegetable market. Market means the appropriate price where demand and supply come and meet. That is called market. Tell me, when does onion go over the roof? Sometimes you hear onion 100 rupees kilo.
Yeah.
When does that happen?
Monsoon.
Correct. Why? Because something happened to the crop and it could not give enough yield.
Yeah, it hindered the supply.
And then what happens? There is scarcity. For whatever reason, there is scarcity. And once there is scarcity, then the demand exceeds the supply. And then, my dear, the 30 rupee onion overnight goes to 100 rupees.
Yeah.
Just like that, if you are in the right mix, if you are in the right space where there is always demand which is a notch above supply, if not more, you cannot go wrong. And again, a market, like I said, is not a fish or a vegetable market. It's ultimately human perception. What is a market? It is sentiment. When we talk about stock markets, why is it called a Sensex? It is a marketplace. Sensitive index. Similarly, every business, is a perception. Is just the sensitivity, that brings either the demand or lack of demand in a product. I'll give you a very beautiful example. When I was a child, I used to go to Getty Galaxy Cinema, I had gone for this movie called Khalnayak. It was a Sanjay Dutt starrer. Madhuri Dixit.
Choli ke piche kya?
How can we forget? So I went for this movie with my then girlfriend, and I wanted her to see the movie. And we were young. I think I was like 17. And I wanted to prove to her that I was her man. But there were no tickets. And I had promised her that I'd already got the tickets. She wanted to go, and I said, of course, I can get them for you. Now, I reached the cinema 15 minutes early. And there was an angel standing there. There were no tickets, obviously, at the box office. But there was an angel. In literal terms, in layman terms, you call that angel a black marketeer. And I got the then 20 rupee ticket for 50 rupees. It was a big amount of money. But that angel called the black marketeer was a demigod to me that day, Now, I did not even think twice before he offered me the tickets. I didn't ask him for 45 rupees, nor did I have any other fear in my mind. All that I was thinking about is the commitment I had made to my girlfriend. So I bought the tickets. Then as time had to go, the next month, There was another movie. She was a movie buff, right? There was another movie.
Another Sanjay Dutt movie.
It was a popular movie, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, in the very first week, it flopped out on the box office.
Uh-huh.
And I promised her the movie again, but once again, I had not got the tickets, but I'd already told her I'd got them. So I rushed there only to find out that the box office had the tickets.
Hmm.
But there was a black market here who assumed that the business will be full house again and he would be making bucks out of this opportunity. And he told me, sir, picture flop ho gaya hai. 20 रुपए का टिकट है मैं आपको 15 में दे दूंगा. But I didn't buy the tickets from him. That primal fear. I want to be safe. That same bucket marketer was a devil today. I didn't want to take the tickets from him. I want to take it at 20 rupees from the box office because suddenly pleasing my girlfriend was not on my mind as much as securing a fair seat for her was. So I paid that $5 extra and went there. This is all sentiment clubbed with demand and supply. So that's what market is. So when you go to an ambitious area where there is a lot of land available, all right, lot of construction happening, lot of houses being sold, like Thana, we have 1,000 houses, bare minimum, every project that's coming out, all of that, Gorbanda Road, Kolshet, etc. How do you plan your exit? The builder is the box office guy who's selling his own tickets. Who will want to buy from you till he gets exhausted of the stock? When his stock exhausts, you will make your move.
Yeah.
And when will that happen? Because the moment he gets exhausted with his stock, the land next door has got another 1,000 units coming up with better features.
Yeah.
You know, how will that land parcel sell at better prices, better values by the new builder? He will make a one-up project. So you will never ever catch that bus. But let us assume you come to a Bandra. I have made a lot of money here. I love to believe, I've been a Bandra boy, so I love to believe that this is the suburb of Mumbai. It may not necessarily be in the reach of everybody, but let us assume Bandra. How do you get produce in Bandra? Do you see a single land parcel? Even in Malad for that matter. We are sitting in Malad today. Do you see a single land parcel available that's there, maybe an acre or two empty? No. The only way this demand in these suburbs can be fulfilled is by creating high rises and going up.
And redeveloping older.
And redeveloping
Yeah.
older ones.
Currently, what is that seen here?
I see all of the stretch right up to Borivali as a fair market in Mumbai. I've always advocated that there are only 3 cities I believe in when you want to invest in real estate. Just 3 cities. Number 1 is Bombay. Number 2 is Bombay. And number 3 is Bombay. So stick to something like that is proven, self-sufficient, caters to everyone who wants to come here scarcely, and then you are at the right spot. Anything between Bandra to Borivali today is scarce. Anything over here is extremely scarce. So stick around Bombay. Don't, as a first-time investor, as a retail investor, as someone who might, flip a couple of times before he gets old, don't try to venture out into tier 2, tier 3 cities where you don't understand a thing.
Yeah.
You're from Bombay, stick in Bombay. Stick in the areas I've told you about. Every person who has £1 lakh of income can easily expose himself, herself to at least 60 to 70 lakhs of loan. And you can go to any DSA, any bank, and they will tell you this. As long as you are skillful, you have a salary, and you have a future, you have age on your side, you will be conveniently exposed to this kind of money at a very affordable EMI. And who says that you need to pay this EMI forever? And who said that this EMI will increase every year? This is only one good thing that happens to you when you expose yourself to a single-digit loan. The EMI remains the same while you progress. Today, at ₹1 lakh, disposing of 60,000 as EMI may be a challenge. But 3 years down the line, it won't. And who says we don't have the option to exit? As long as you are in the right mix, that we just discussed that, as long as you're in the right mix, getting out is always an option. Let the profit of how much you get out of a sale be calculated by a chartered accountant. That is not really important. And you will understand that a good product, profit is a byproduct of a good asset purchased and sold in due time,
In the right time.
in the right time.
So overall, debt is not bad.
That is not bad.
Use it to your advantage.
Allow the banks to make you the brave heart,
Yeah.
Allow the banks to make money because they've borrowed it from someone to,
To give it to you.
fund it to someone like you. So accept that gracefully.
Being salaried does not mean you are not capable of investing in real estate.
In the bank's eyes, you are the richest person in the making. You are the only person the bank prefers giving money to over someone like me.
Yeah. Fear of unknown is not necessarily a bad thing.
Fear unknown is definitely not a bad thing. Fearing is not bad. It's a human trait. You and I, everybody. I told you all about the bungee jumping. Everybody needs to fear. That is good. It keeps you in check.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you greedy. It doesn't make you too bullish.
Yeah.
But you need to tame it.
Yeah. And the right guidance helps.
It pays to have an informed broker by your side.
And real estate investment yields better results as compared to the inflation rate.
I believe so because that's what my stats say, my performance says, and we will have more extensive podcasts on this subject to make you understand why I say so, why the reward and the risk stay balanced in such a situation. The best rewards you get is on a roulette table. No one can match that. I was in Vegas and they told me that if my number comes, I get 50 times the money I've invested, 50 times the money I've put, with the fear that the chances of it coming was 1 in 50. So the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. So somewhere we need to find our balance as a salaried class. As we speak in our future podcasts, you will understand that real estate is something that's a balanced approach to a modest human.
Yeah. Did you win more in the roulette or did you win more in Bandra?
I just put $100 once in Vegas, and I'm a balanced person myself, and I lost it in one shot. I was nowhere even close to. I bet on 2 and the number that came was 36. I was nowhere close to. And that's when I decided that,
I'll stick to what I know.
let's stick to the modest approach. Let's be real, So the difference between business and gambling is both are risks, but something that is informed about. When you take an informed risk, it is business. When you leave it to destiny and it's all uninformed, just like a roulette table, you leave it to God Almighty, that is gambling. So stay informed. You'll be in the business.